Oh, you gotta love the theme music. You gotta. We're all back. It's been weeks. It's been weeks, and we are back with our very special guest. His name is Jamie Coseley, but I love calling him Jamie Coseley. Jamie Coseley is here, with us. Welcome, Jamie. How are you today?
I'm doing good, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, man. As always, with us is our commentator corraller, Wayne. Hi, Wayne. How are you?
Hello, guys.
I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. I've been MIA, as it were. So I apologize to everybody out there. So we haven't been here in a couple of weeks, but that is totally my fault. Publicly, I will blame Wayne, but the fault is entirely mine. But,
yes, it is my fault.
It's
I accept
a little,
the blame.
yeah, a little bit Jamie's fault though. A little bit. Welcome to the show. Thank you. We're gonna do some drawing. We're gonna do some talking. We're gonna talk about the Star Wars Bad Batch. Full disclosure: I've only seen the first 2 episodes. I haven't seen the third one yet. So Wayne's seen all of them, so he's going to give us spoilers on the third one. And we might talk a little bit of He-Man, and we might talk a little bit of Thundarr, the Barbarian. So we're going to go old school on both of those. As always, the conversation may deviate or diverge from all of those things, and we may wind up talking about none of them. I have a feeling we're also going to be talking about ROM, Space Knight, tonight as well, a little bit. So if you have any comments or questions, throw them out there. Wayne is on all platforms. He's my tech guru. He's everywhere. He's got eyes and ears everywhere, so he will see comments from people. So throw them up if you have them. We'll be glad to answer some, all, or none of them. We've actually had a few shows where nobody commented on anything, so that was fun. It's good times. So it's all in good fun. I'm here anyway. You're here anyway. We're here with Jamie Coseley, like I said, and Jamie does a whole bunch of stuff. He's a full-time artist, full-time musician-ish, or part-time musician, part-time artist. So it makes it full-time something, I guess.
Yeah.
One of your biggest gigs is you draw for Star Wars Insider, correct?
Yes. I've been with Star Wars Insider for the past 4 years. My comic, The Light Side, appears in the Launchpad section. Usually it's on page 10. And this month's issue, I got to draw the Bad Batch. So I was
there
really
you go.
excited. Yeah, I was really excited to draw. Got to draw all of them. But yeah, and
I would say that I'm timely on this show, but that was totally by coincidence that all of that happened. But go ahead, I cut you off. What else were you saying?
It's cool. No, it's cool. We try to the editor and I, we get together every so often, and of course he knows what's coming up, what's coming out on Disney Plus or coming out in the movies, and so there's some really fun stuff coming up. I usually stay ahead, and I also do something for WDW magazine, which is Walt Disney World. It's all about the parks, and then lots of picture books. Lots and lots of picture books. About 41 now I've illustrated.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's a lot of them.
Very cool.
And I brought my Skeletor hat. Let me see here.
Oh, sweet.
I like it.
Since we're going to be talking about He-Man, I thought I'd wear my Skeletor hat.
Well, I'm going to start off right off the bat with that. And what I want to know is Skeletor, he's this big muscular guy, right? I mean, you look at him, he's got the muscles everywhere. But he's got that skeleton face. It doesn't match up. I don't know. I don't know.
And then, do you guys know? Is Scareglow, is that Skeletor's ghost?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm just wondering. I thought I read something. I was like, because I wanted to get the figure, and I read somewhere that's Skeletor's ghost, and I'm like, well, isn't Skeletor kind of a ghost, or no? I don't know.
Oh no, Skeletor's a skeleton.
Okay.
So maybe
He's
his
flesh and
face.
bone.
Maybe his. Yeah. Well, I guess flesh because he's got all that muscle. Unless that's bone muscle. Is that bone muscle?
I don't know. I have the figure here. Let's see here. Oh.
I don't know. I'm scared to find out. Can you lift the little loincloth and see underneath? Does that give us a clue at all? I don't know.
Is he anatomically correct?
This PG-13 show? I don't know.
Yes, it is. Yes.
He's just wearing little fuzzy underbreeches.
Oh well, there you go. You got to be comfortable when you're evil as well, I guess.
When you're evil and you're fighting, you got to be comfortable. Yeah. And yep.
Well, tonight I'm going to be drawing. I'm going to be drawing some Thundarr. I don't know if you can see my pencils here, but it's Ariel and Ukla.
Yes.
And Thundarr. There he is. They're in my style, but when we were talking during the week about what we're going to talk about, you said He-Man, and then did you bring up Thundarr, or did I say? Yeah, I think you said Thundarr as well. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's draw that.
I drew Thundarr earlier this week.
Oh, there he is.
But I'm gonna draw Ukla while we talk and stuff.
Nice.
Somebody wanted me to draw Ukla.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I already drew him out, so because I don't really draw on here. I just usually ink and color. So, but I guess that's kind of drawing. I think sort of.
We got a comment from Andrew Clark. He
yeah.
He thinks he's pretty sure that Keldor and Skeletor is He-Man / Prince Adam's uncle.
Oh, okay. All right. I think that makes sense.
And my brother Gary wishes everyone a good evening tonight.
Oh yeah, Gary, how are you? Yes. I'm a little scared of the Skeletor answer now because I don't know if I want to know. Here's an interesting fact, though. Since we're on He-Man and stuff like that, my animation teacher in college was considered for He-Man. Now, I went to school at Adelphi University in Long Island, and he was my animation professor, as I said. So his name was Chuck Harrington, old school guy, loved him. He was one of these old sweet guy, but he worked on the Flintstones, and he animated the whole. He was involved with the show when they had Pebbles coming. And Wilma was pregnant and stuff like that. So he got a call when this was happening, like He-Man was premiering, and we were talking about it, and he goes, oh, I was considered for that. And he brought in his samples that he tried out for, and he brought in his samples. So we got to see He-Man drawings and all the characters and stuff like that, which was so cool. And he got the job, but they wanted him to move to California. And he's like, no, I'm old. I'm not moving out there. So he never went. But he was a cool guy. He worked on you remember the Vlasic pickle commercials with the stork?
Yeah.
He animated all those. He animated on the Flintstones, and I thought it was cool that he was going to do He-Man and stuff,
That's awesome.
So that's my connection to He-Man. That's the only connection to He-Man I got.
So he would have gone out to Filmation, to their studio.
Mm-hmm. But he's like, nah, my family's here. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And also, here's an interesting fact. My studio name is Blind Wolf Studios. And I got that because of his class. We had an assignment where he wrote a script, and it was an outer space fairy tale of Little Red Riding Hood, but he had us animated. He wanted the whole class, because these were mostly filmmakers, not really artists. So he had them, he had Little Red Riding Hood as a little triangle, and he had the wolf as, another shape and stuff like that. And he wanted us to animate that. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. So I actually animated. I drew cells. I drew hundreds of them because I wanted to draw. But I drew the wolf like really mean and everything, but I drew him with white eyes, and everybody said, "Why is your wolf blind?" And that's how Blind Wolf showed up. So that's how I got it.
Cool.
Not that anybody ever needed to know that story, but it's there now for you.
I like that story.
Okay, just a little quick update on Keldor. Very convoluted.
Uh-oh. Give it to me.
It seems there be contradiction between the original series, the post-filmation, and current stuff. He may or may not be.
Wow.
May or may not be the uncle.
May or may not be the uncle.
Okay.
Everything's sort of contradicting itself.
May or may not be the ghost.
May or may not be the ghost.
Okay. Well, maybe
Very
Kevin Smith maybe is going to do something with that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, are you excited about that new series?
I am. I'm looking forward to it. I think they released some of the images yesterday, maybe, or was it today?
No, yesterday. I think it's from yesterday.
Yesterday. It looks really good.
Again, I want to take credit for being very timely with this, but I'm not.
Yeah, how did you do all that? You got Bad Batch and Star Wars Insider, and now you got the He-Man news.
I think it's my mental mojo. I think that's what it is.
I will always love the Filmation, of course, but I'm not one of those that that freaks out and like, you ruined my childhood. I don't know how you could ruin your childhood if it already passed. I mean, you either had a great childhood or you didn't. What happens now is not really going to affect that.
Well, there's a lot of man children out there that complain about stuff. So maybe it is ruining their childhood.
I don't know.
Because they haven't grown out of it yet. Possibly.
I think it's going to be good, though.
Oh, yeah. If you look at the voice cast, it's amazing.
Yeah, they got some big superstars on there, right?
Yeah. Mark Hamill is Skeletor.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Chris Wood from Supergirl is He-Man.
Oh.
Sarah Michelle Gellar is Teela.
Whoa.
Liam Cunningham is Man-at-Arms. Another Game of Thrones. Lena Headey is Evil Lynn.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it just goes on and on. Oh, Kevin Conroy is Merman.
Oh, funny.
Henry Rollins is Triclops.
Oh, wow. Dude. That's awesome.
Now, is this a limited? Is this a limited series run, or is this a full-blown series with like like episode, like a number of episodes or whatever?
I don't even know.
It's to be released in 2 parts. The first part 1 will have 5 episodes.
Oh, wow. So it's like basically like a mini movie type thing, or a mini series, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's like a little mini series.
That's gonna rock.
Interesting. Oh, I'm still getting that echo. Apologize. I thought I fixed that. But so I have a big problem with the original He-Man.
Okay.
Do you want to hear what it is?
Yeah.
So Prince Adam, he's built like a brick house, that guy. Right? And then when he turns into He-Man, he looks exactly the same, but like with no clothes on.
He's tan.
And he's tan. Is that his disguise? Yeah.
Tan.
I'm a tan. I got a tan. Nobody could tell it's me. Usually when you get a tan, it draws attention and you're like, oh, you look good. You got a tan.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they go up to Adam and they're like, hey, Prince Adam, like you look just like He-Man, but without a tan. You look like a pasty He-Man.
Pasty He-Man. I just recently got the Prince Adam action figure, and it came with this vehicle, and I had posted pics online, and I was really excited because I had a Target gift card, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this, and I posted a picture of it, and I don't know how this person somebody said something really mean. I'm not going to repeat it because it was just really ugly. And, and I was like, oh my gosh, just because I shared a picture of Prince Adam. So I just, I blocked them.
You don't have to tell us what it is, but give us the gist of like kind of what they said to give us like some sort of background. Don't tell us what it is if it's bad, but kind of be nicer about the description.
Basically, he was alluding to the fact that I was probably a lonely man.
Okay, all right, that's all you need to say.
Jamie, I am so sorry that I wrote that. I should not have assumed that you were a lonely man.
And so I immediately had to come back, and but I said no, I'm gonna just block this person. But I thought, wow, all I did was post a picture of a Prince Adam toy, and it just immediately they just came after me.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that guy was very upset because he doesn't have a tan. That's what I'm thinking.
Could be. That could be it.
Wow.
It's like when the Colonel from KFC had the tan versus the other Colonels.
Yeah, the George Hamilton one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
George Hamilton. Yep.
That's what they got. They should have gotten to play He-Man in the movie instead of Dolph Lundgren. They should have gotten George Hamilton with his tan.
I was watching this this toy show, and this guy went to a convention and met Dolph Lundgren, and he was really excited to meet him. He's asking him all these questions, and he says, "Do you have some of the action figures and toys at your house?" And Dolph was like, "No." And then he just he didn't say anything else. He just went, "No, I don't." That was it. And I was like, "Oh, okay."
That's that guy's fan interaction right there. He just told me he didn't have toys. That guy's like a certifiable genius, right?
Yeah.
Not certifiable, certified. He might be crazy. He might be crazy, but he's like mega genius, that guy. He's like got a isn't he a physicist or something like that?
I think it's in economics.
Wow.
What, y'all are talking about He-Man?
Talking about Dolph Lundgren.
Oh.
So yeah,
He-Man. Here's the thing about catching up with Franco. You gotta really catch up. Because those tangents, they come fast.
They do, right? I'm sorry. It's just the way my brain works.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to correct him, but I was like, no, Man at Arms is the one that's the genius, I think.
I don't think so.
He-Man's more of the brawn.
He's just like a battle genius, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know things at all, really, Jamie. I pretend a lot.
Oh, wow.
I don't know things. I think Wayne may have found something. I heard him say, "Oh, wow." What did you find?
Masters in Science.
Ooh.
Washington State University. University of Sydney. He also has a University of Sydney has a Master's in Science. In the Royal Institute of Technology, he has a Bachelor of Science. Oh,
dang.
That's not a big deal. I got a master's degree. It's the same difference. So basically, what you're saying is, what was that?
He doesn't have any toys.
Yeah, I do though. I got lots of
toys. Right. That's right.
Isn't Art making a Franco Migo?
What was that? I missed that.
Isn't Art going to be making a Franco Migo at some point?
Oh, I hope so. I think he might already have one. He keeps it under his pillow at night. That's what I heard, anyway.
He needs to come by. He needs to stop by.
Yeah, I like that guy. I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks. I've been so busy.
He's a good man.
Well, Art's here tonight, and he really likes Jamie.
Oh, well, there you go.
I really like him. He's my buddy.
See, no mention of me because he's embarrassed that he keeps the Migo doll of me under his pillow. So
that's what it is.
I knew it. So what is it about He-Man that you like besides the tan, Jamie?
Well, the one thing I remember is that 1982 was my favorite Christmas ever because I got
Dolph Lundgren came to your house.
Yeah. I got two Kiss albums. I got Kiss Double Platinum Live.
Whoa. Yeah.
And the Gene Simmons Face album. And then I got Castle Grayskull, He-Man, Skeletor, and Stratos. And I was just so happy to get all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It was exciting.
And was it a lonely Christmas?
It wasn't. I wasn't lonely. I wasn't lonely at all.
You had all those action figures. It wasn't lonely at all.
I'm definitely not going to share any Christmas photos on Twitter. People are so mean.
I feel bad. I'm sorry. You should have called me. I would have defended you and told you that you and I are friends. I would have told him.
I told my son, and he just, what he actually said, and my son just buzzed out laughing.
Because your son is thinking, yeah, Dad is little. I know my son would have said something like that. Yeah, well, you are kind of lonely, Dad.
He probably said, I told you not to buy that stupid figure.
So, did you get like a lot of He-Man action figures, or did you just collect a few of them?
I got a lot of them you mean when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of them. I had Ram Man and Merman, and Beast Man, all the Man.
All the Man-Mans? Was there a Man-Man? That would have been cool.
That would have been awesome.
If they had Merman, Beast Man. If they had Man-Man, it was just a regular guy.
He didn't do much. And then I have my original Black Star figure, because Black Star came out before He-Man, but the figures were like 2 years after the release of the show.
So now, if I remember correctly, Black Star was the one where the sword was like a star shape, and there were two of them that came together. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, yep. I remember that show. Yeah.
Star Sword and not Sun Sword, because that's
Thundarr.
It's Thundarr.
We'll get to him later. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm drawing Oopla.
So, which was your favorite character that you collected? Man, Merman, Beastman. Which one did you like the best?
Well, that's a good question.
Because the thing I liked about He-Man is that they all had like very distinctive like character looks. All the characters looked cool. Like even the weird ones. Like I forget the name of was it Ram Man? Like the guy who was real short, but like he could like he busted with his head. He'd bust things open. Is that right? Ram Man. So even he was short and stocky, like his neck went into his shoulders type thing. But they were all kind of cool looking, Even the weird guys like that, like Triclops and stuff like that, right?
Yep, I had I remember having Triclops, Manny Faces.
Manny Faces. That's right. Manny Faces.
Manny Faces. There was a guy called Zodak that was really cool.
Did you see Did you see the Netflix Toys That Made Us? Did you see the He-Man episode?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
All those guys were kind of fighting over who really came up with it.
Yeah. Well, that tells you what happened, right? It just went from one I came up with this part, and then I went to you, and I'm like, what do you think of this? And you're like, oh, yeah, let's do this and this. And then you go to Wayne, and oh, yeah, let's do this and that. That's exactly what happened.
Yep. And then you had, I love how Battle Cat was the tiger from Big Jim.
Yeah.
That was cool, because I never knew that. That. But definitely, I want to say probably Manny Faces. Oh, there was a cool character called Whiplash.
No, that's a Marvel character.
Marvel character. And nowadays I really like the design of Hordak from She-Ra. I think
No, that was the show, like the spin-off show.
Yep.
So was he related in any way, shape, or form to Skeletor?
From what I remember, She-Ra was He-Man's sister.
Sister or cousin? I think sister. I think you're right.
Sister.
And then, oh gosh.
But she was in another. She was in another country, or was she in like another dimension? Because they.
I think it was another dimension because they had to take a portal to get there. I think.
You know, one of the things we don't do on this show is our due diligence and research before the show. That's one thing we don't do.
No. It's right here. It's Princess Adora was kidnapped by Hordak.
It's kidnapped by her.
Yeah. A vampire demon-faced sorcerer with a cowl of bones who can transform his body into various mechanical devices. That's a long origin.
Wow. So he came to the He-Man universe and kidnapped her?
Yes. And he's Skeletor's apprentice, according to Wikipedia.
There you go.
Wow. So not only does he screw over Skeletor, he's like, I'm gonna take this girl too. He goes, I'm gonna
You
screw
can have
over
the pasty white boy, and I'll take the girl.
Yeah. Yeah, you keep the pasty white kid. I'm gonna take the girl. And also, you look like a skeleton, man. So I'm out of here. Oh, that's brutal, man.
Yeah, you can watch He-Man and She-Ra Secret of the Sword on I think it's free on YouTube. You can watch it. If you want.
Now, I remember from way back when that like they were so popular that they had a Christmas special. Didn't He-Man and She-Ra do the Christmas special or something like that?
Yep.
And
I think that's on there too.
Santa was in it?
Did they do a life song?
I don't think they did a live song.
I don't know. I'm scared by all of this.
Oh, Andrew Clark wanted to know, Jamie, did you watch the 2000 reboot cartoon?
I have not. I have not seen it. I have I've done a little bit of research like on the toys and whatnot because I thought well, you know what, I'm gonna go and start collecting these. And then I hopped on eBay and I was like, oh my gosh, they're all so expensive.
The original ones or the newer ones?
The original ones, the newer ones, basically anything you want. It's just it is really escalated. And so I am familiar with it because I have like all of the those Dark Horse, those big collections of like the He-Man newspaper strips and the He-Man toy guide. And so I'm familiar with that reboot, but I haven't actually sat down and watched it. I want to though.
Again, Andrew also says the origin line that Jamie has is great. I am collecting them. I am collecting them, but most are very hard to get right now. And he wanted to know, did you get the new Castle Grayskull?
I did not get the new Castle Grayskull. I still have my original one in my parents' attic. So I did not get that, but I wonder if I can spin this around and show. Let me see here. Turn the slide over here.
While you're doing that, he said he was very lucky to find one at Walmart. Oh wow!
They're coming in.
Yeah. Now, those are original ones that you had, or other ones that you've gotten over time?
Some of them are original, and some of them I just picked up, like Ninjor and Hordak. Tyler got for me when he went to a comic shop with his friend. And then the funny thing is, like, this character here, Stinkor.
Yeah.
Stinkor is just Merman colored black and white.
Mhm.
I mean, it is the exact same figure.
And they put a stink thing, a scent in there, didn't they?
Yeah, he was supposed to smell really bad.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So yeah, got a combination. I picked up an extra Battle Cat and an extra. This is Black Star with the laser light.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now Black Star was made from the same molds, or it was the same company, or it was earlier than He-Man, because I don't know the origin of Black Star very well.
What? Black Star came out in 1981, right around the time that Thundarr came out, and but the show got canceled. But then when He-Man came out and He-Man was really popular, they released a toy line for Black Star. So 2 years after the show was canceled,
wow.
they came out with toys. Yeah.
Wow.
And because I remember I bought mine at Kmart when I was little, and but I never got any of the others. So now I'm hunting for them. But I try to. I think it's more fun to find them out in the wild than it is to just hop on eBay.
Yeah.
So I'm still looking for them whenever I go to toy shows, or if they ever have conventions again.
It was it was Galoob that produced the Black Star action figures.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Galoob. So yeah, I've just kind of like gotten into them again ever since I started working on Blue Scar.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us about that? Because that's like a big homage thing for you. Basically, it's taken from that and a couple other things, but I mean that's where you kind of get your inspiration from for your new comic that you're doing with your son, right?
Yep, with my son and my brother.
And your brother, that's right.
Yeah, Tyler has written out the whole series, and he does all the thumbnails, and he keeps me from going off on these tangents. Like, you know, I'm just going to draw that. He's like, no, stick to the script. Because
after all you did for that kid, you raised him, you fed him.
He's like, stick to my script. And then Tyler, so he lays everything out, and I penciled the first issue, penciled, inked, and colored in like 6 or 7 months. And then I started working on the second one. And then the third one now, Steven does all of the colors, all of the design work. I'm halfway through the third issue. And it's a complete homage to...
Now tell us about Steven too, because he's not like some schlubby guy who's living in your basement or something like that. I mean, this guy is like he's worked at Blue Sky. He's worked at video game. He's a video game guy. Like works for the company. He's not just like sits on your couch playing the video games.
Yeah, he's not a lonely man like me. Yeah, he worked at Blue Sky. He worked on Ice Age 3 and Rio, and then he was at Raven Software. He worked on the Call of Duty video games. So his background, he has an extensive background in digital compositing and color. And so we kind of collaborated, and I said, I want the characters to still be kind of a little bit flat in terms of the appearance. I want it to be like a cartoon, but everything else, you just go crazy. And so it really pops. I don't know how he does what he does, but it's so cool. And everything in there is an homage to He-Man and Black Star and Thundercats. I got a character called Mr. Gundon, and that name came from, if you look at the original He-Man filmation, Orko's voice was by Lou Gundon. Well, Lou Gundon was actually Lou Scheimer. That was his just one of his many names that he used, so he could do the voices.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's funny.
Yeah, he did Orko. Orko was Lou's favorite character. So Hal Sutherland is another partner in Filmation. So the planet that this all takes place on is Halmatros. So that came directly from Hal Sutherland. And then, of course, it borrows a lot from Star Wars. Crimson is kind of a combination of Skeletor, Darth Vader, and Mumra. But yeah, we're having a blast with it, and like I said, I have all my notes, and right now I'm producing a page a week, and we have 2.5 issues out, so it's cool.
That's awesome. Now, you and I go way back. I mean, we've known each other for many years before our kids were born.
Yeah.
We've known each other, and we were. If you want to go really old school on Comixology, you'll be able to go to the Yeah Comics section and find Eagle All Star that you and I and Art. We all kind of jam wrote it together, and then that's something that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I still love that book. I love the whole premise. I can remember we were sitting at my kitchen table at my old house and just kind of working out the thumb. And I actually drew some stuff. That was back when I was just really rough. Some of it was intentional, but then I started inking with a brush pen and started getting a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. I love doing stuff like that.
Yeah, we wrote. It's like one weekend we wrote a whole bunch of Nippy Wallaboosh and
geez, that's right.
Little Creeps.
Little Creeps, that's right. We did Little Creeps together. We did Nippy Wallaboosh. One of my favorite characters that you ever came up with. It's got to be Shanky Whistleteats. These names that
I knew you were going to say that.
Because it's still one of my favorite ones ever.
I told you guys, I said the only thing I know about him is he wears a helmet. It's like udders. It looks like an udder, and it's a helmet. And when he runs, it goes. And Art was just looking at me like, what? Yeah, he's got to show up somehow, somewhere.
Nippy Wallaboosh. We have to dig that out, and we got to do like a new director's cut of that or something.
The return of Nippy Wall.
Yeah, Nippy Wallaboosh.
The one I remember, the one that we wrote,
because we had another one written, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. The three of us.
Uh-huh.
The three of us had one where, it was one of the funniest ones, and it didn't get drawn. But Nippy Wallaboosh, he runs into the grocery store, and he just starts building this fort out of cereal boxes. and the guy comes over and he goes, "Excuse me, sir," and he's like, "Ah!" And he's holding his rake, and he's like, "Ah!" He goes, "Okay," and he backs off. And but there was always like a really funny punchline, like when in the first issue when he cut the bushes, and then the neighbor said, "Well, he really liked that movie, Edward Scissorhands." And there was always weird poetry. It was fun though.
Yeah, there was poetry in the book. That was so funny. Because you drew the book, and then I did the spot illustrations for the poetry, I think.
Yeah.
Because I remember drawing a lobster in a lighthouse for one of the poems. And I don't have any more of those books. I need to find one.
Wait, let me see if I got one on the rack. I think I have one, believe it or not.
Oh my gosh. I have tears on my eyes. Remember that. That's so funny. Nippy Wallaboosh. There he is. Hold on. Let me make. There he is. Nippy Wallaboosh.
And then if you look here on the back, there's let's see. There's Christy when Christy was pregnant with Tyler.
Oh, that's right.
You guys came over, and that's when we wrote. Oh, and here's Art. Art drew Nippy,
Uh-huh.
and then there's the three of us there, and that's you trying grits, I think.
That's right. You took a picture of me trying grits for the first time, which I did not enjoy. I did not enjoy. You have to send me scans of that book, because I honestly I don't have a copy of that anywhere, and I'd love to see it again, because that was just so stupid. It was just so funny.
We had something with that, and then I did like two. I did two on my own. That was it just wasn't sane, because the three of us had something, but I remember somebody reviewed the third one, and he goes, he said, "I honestly don't know how to review this book." He goes, he said this thing with a rake is riding a dinosaur, and I don't know what language you speak. And he goes, and then there's scripture. I'm like, oh my gosh. He says, I don't know. If you want to try it, it's definitely weird. Because I did. You remember Glee the Happy Goth?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, right. Glee. Well, there was a dinosaur that steps on Glee, right? But then in the next panel, he's like, "I'm Glee 2099." And just immediately, he's got like the cyber arm, and you're just like, I didn't know what I was doing.
I don't have any copies of Glee. I have very few copies of Little Creeps, which I loved Little Creeps as well. That was hysterical.
That one was good.
Glee the Happy Goth. We did Jack and Jack. You and I did Jack and Jack together.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then Nippy Wallaboosh. We did Eagle All-Star together. And Eagle All-Star's origin was he fell out of the sky because he was attacked by eagles, and he landed and he was picked up, and two guys in a flatbed Ford stopped by, and it was Glenn Fry and Don Henley were in the back, and they gave him a transfusion or something like that. I can't remember.
And then we had a guy named Squid Nuts.
No, his name was Slapnuts. Squid Nuts and Slap.
Oh, Slapnuts.
That's right.
And then there was this character where she didn't have she didn't have any powers, but she was wearing like an octopus tutu, so she spun like this, and the arms would smack him in the face. I forget her name, but yeah, it was. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I have any Eagle All-Star, to be honest.
I think I might have one or two in the storage room. I gotta look. Oh my god.
That was a funny book. I mean,
but this is what would happen when we would get together. Is we'd just start laughing like this, and then we couldn't write stuff down fast enough because
I remember we were this is years ago. We were at Art's house, and and Art, I remember it. He was playing with a little stuffed monkey, and he was holding it up, and y'all were planning for the next day, because we were going to Wizard World Chicago, I think. And I drew this horrible drawing of Creech, the character Creech,
right,
from Image. And then you and Art were like,
a little backstory before you go any further. For those of you that are fans of Art and myself, and Jamie, but Jamie was at the shows early on, but then you didn't do them for a long time. But if you've ever gotten crayon drawings from us on a backing board, the dollar crayon drawings from way back in the day, this is how it started. So go ahead. So I remember that drawing you did of Creech.
I did this horrible drawing of Creech, and then y'all were like, that's not horrible. I can do more horrible. and so the next day we had this.
No, but that night we kept drawing, and then it got to the point where we timed ourselves, so we only had 30 seconds to draw the character. So like we're scribbling with crayons and stuff like that on backing boards, and we were just laughing so much, and we had hundreds of drawings. We literally had like 100 drawings that night. So then we were like, what are we going to do?
They were like, they're $1 a piece, except for Creech.
He's $5.
Creech is $5. And I remember because we just sat him out, and some guy walked up and he goes, "These are horrible." and we said, "Thank you." And he goes, he said, "Why the heck?" And then he goes, "I'm going to get this one here."
But people all day long would come up, and they're like, "What are these? Are the drawings? We spent all night drawing them. We were up all night drawing these." And they're like, "Well, how much are they?" They're $1, except for the Creech. Creech is $5. And they don't stop and say, "Well, why is Creech $5?" And we're like, "Because he's the first one. He was the first one that we drew."
And then eventually it sold. Somebody bought it.
We sold all of them. We ran out of drawings that day. We sold all the drawings. Oh, it's so funny.
I have some good news for you guys.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A certain little kid named Art Baltazar has all of those books that you're looking for.
Oh, yes. Yes, all of them.
Art is the best. Art.
Oh, my gosh.
I love that guy.
Oh, man, that's so funny. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Every time it was the three of us, I just remember laughing so hard. My sides hurt. I remember we went to a show in Philadelphia one year, and it was me and Steven and you and Art. And the room, this literally was the smallest room I'd ever seen in my life. And you had the bed, and you were like, none of you are getting on the bed. So we were on the floor.
But literally, we stood in this room. I remember it was a club quarters. It was a club quarters hotel, and we would all four of us stood in the middle of the room, and we put our arms out, Wayne. We put our arms out like this, and we could touch both walls. That's how small the room was.
It's like a room in New York.
No, smaller, much smaller. And then, not only that, but Art insisted on blasting the AC, full blast, full blast, and it was cold. It was so cold in the room that, like, we were all huddled there. We put clothes on to sleep because we were so cold. And at one point, didn't you and your brother leave the room to go out in the hallway to warm up because it was so cold?
Yeah. Some of those stories, like, I remember one of the one story that I tell my kids the most is we were all of us were at, I want to say it was SPX. Mm-hmm. So there's probably like 10 or 11 people in a room. And there were two guys that had fallen asleep. Well, everybody fell asleep except for me and Art, and might have been Todd Webb. Todd Webb was just a baby. He was like 18 years old.
I think he still is, pretty much.
He's still a baby. So
he's got a wife and everything, but he's still a baby. Yeah.
Yeah, he's I saw him not too long ago. He's doing really well. But two guys had fallen asleep, and they snored just ridiculously loud. And so we had been up, and we were all drawn. And every time one of them would go like that, Art would go, yeah. So he would echo, like you'd hear, yeah. And then, oh, yeah. And I was laughing so hard. My sides hurt. And I was like, you've got to stop, man. And so the next night, those two guys got another room. They were like, nope, nobody's going to share a room with y'all anymore. You're adolescent. You don't sleep.
You know what? You know what the problem is? Like when we get together now, it's the same thing. Like it's the same thing happens.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I tell you, those.
Well, we
Oh,
definitely had some adventures. Jeez Whiz.
Art's saying that the room was 42 degrees.
Yeah, I believe him. I believe him. Yeah.
42 degrees.
It was cold. It was like really cold in that room. I remember that.
And Scoot thinks that Jamie sounds like you should come back to the shows.
Yeah, you
Although
got
they
it.
are calm now, everyone is old.
Yeah. I definitely I'm ready now, man. After being at home for a year, I want to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And I definitely have fun, especially if I can take my family, and we can all go. And because I remember one of the last shows that I got to go to with Yambar was at Heroes. One of the last times I got to hang out with him, and he was hilarious because he would watch me do commissions because I always did really, really well at Heroes. Just got a great support team there. Like I know everyone that buys from me. They're my friends. And he was like, I remember one drawing I did. It was like all 4 turtles. I did all 4 turtles. I colored it and whatever I was charging for it, Yambar charged the same for like a Bart Simpson headshot. And he was like, "Hey, look at me. You still working on that turtles drawing?"
Yeah.
He was always teasing me, but we had the best time hanging out at that show. But I'm definitely going to go to more when they start up again.
Yeah, you gotta come out to Chicago. It'll be fun. C2E2 maybe in December if you're up for it. If we're all out there, that'd be a fun show.
With me.
Oh, geez, Louise. See, like I said, we got distracted and we didn't talk about Thundarr, or we kind of sort of talked about He-Man a little bit.
Well, see, Thundarr. No, I know. I'm just sitting here just reminiscing. I'm like, oh my gosh, just what I remember most of all of these shows is just laughing, just ridiculous stuff that if you're not careful, you'll miss what Art says, because he's real fast. And he would say stuff to people when they come up and ask him to draw, and I could just remember laughing, and they're looking at me like, "What are you laughing at?"
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Shows is just fun. Yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
Oh yeah, J. Robert Deans on Facebook says it's always a blast listening to Chris needle Jamie on his drawings.
No, he did. He got me a lot. He really did. But it was all with love. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just so hard to believe that he's gone. Yeah. I don't want to bring everybody down, but I mean, it is, because you think about all that we, coming up together and doing all these shows and remember when he got Simpsons and nobody else had anything, and we were like, how in the world did he get Simpsons? Yeah. I remember that. Yeah,
it's so funny. Like we were all looking to do something and get somewhere, and it's just the fun time was in the struggle. The fun time was just trying to get there, and it was just, I just remember having a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of time and effort, but we always had fun. In different cities or doing different things. It was just so much fun.
Well, I did draw Ookla.
Yeah, there he is. I gotta hold on. Well, there. Oh, look at him. That's him.
So I'll color him and put him with Thundarr, and then make sure I draw Princess Ariel.
Look, there's mine so far.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
Working slowly getting there. And I love that my light is orange. So, yeah, they're a little better.
That's cool.
It's a dying sun.
So, Thundarr was one of my favorite cartoons. I just loved it so much. And Wayne was about to spoil me with some info, and I said, no, hold it till we get on the pod. So the lead characters were designed by Alex Toth, right? And all the wizards and everything else was designed by Jack Kirby. Mm-hmm. And you were holding out a secret. You had more information or something. Not a
secret. I don't think so. I think that was it.
Oh, that was it? No, I thought there was something else.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But do you know who created it?
Yeah, that was it. I don't.
Steve Gerber.
Steve Gerber did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait. Howard the Duck guy?
Yes. Steve Gerber from Howard the Duck created Thundarr.
Wow.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
How's that information that we didn't know?
Now we know.
Because that was a cartoon that was kind of like, all on its own and different. I loved it. I have the box set here somewhere. I was watching it I was telling Wayne, I was watching it a couple of years ago, but I got to pop it back in and watch it again. Unless it's on some sort of streaming service. It isn't on any streaming service, is it?
No, I haven't found it. I'm thinking of picking up the Blu-ray because I just love the character designs. They're amazing.
Yeah, a couple of I guess it was maybe two Father's Days ago. Tyler got me the box set, and so we've been kind of bouncing back and forth between that and Thundercats and Brave Star and He-Man. So we'll watch like an episode of each of those, and there's a fantastic Thundercats episode where he battles the samurai.
I remember that one.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. But they're all excellent, and I wish you could just kind of like go and create your own Netflix or whatever and have all your picks on there, so you could kind of watch them all whenever you wanted.
I remember that Thundercats was on when I was in college, and we would all race back from classes in the afternoon to watch them on TV because they were on at 3 or 4 in the afternoon or something like that here in New York on Channel 5. I remember that. So we would race back from, I got to go back and watch Thundercats. And we're college age guys, so yeah, we were lonely back then too. We were very lonely back then too.
Do you remember? Of course, there was Thundercats, and then there was Silverhawks. Do you know what the third series was?
I do. But
is it Crystar?
No, it's not Crystar, but Crystar was awesome too.
I don't know. Tell me.
The toys are impossible to find because they didn't, and there was just a few episodes that lasted. But you had Thundercats, Silverhawks, and Tiger Sharks.
Oh, Tiger Sharks, yeah, but that wasn't He-Man and Thundercats were very similar in body type and tone and stuff like that. But yeah, Tiger Sharks, yeah.
But it was the same. It was the same company, Rankin and Bass. It was the same company that did Silverhawks and Thundercats.
Wow!
And if you can find any of the toys, I mean, you're looking at a couple of $100 for a figure.
Yeah, I didn't have the figures. I had one of these things for a little while because let's see if I could find it. Talk amongst yourselves while I look.
Oh, we got a question from J. Robert Deans again for Jamie. Is that a mock drawing?
Is that a what?
He wants to know, is that a mock drawing? Drawing.
Ukla the Mock?
At
Oh,
mock. I think he's trying to make fun.
I think so.
it's good fun. He's a good friend of mine. He's a cartoonist and author and illustrator, and we've known each other for a long time.
Okay, here we go. This is what I do have. I don't know if it'll come up on here. Will it come up on here?
Yeah.
Here, maybe I'll do it this way. Here, let's do it this way. Oh. Why won't it play? It won't play.
It's not playing.
Here we go.
Oh, that's Street Sharks.
Yeah, Street Shark. It's a hand puppet, though. It's a hand puppet.
I want some of those. Let me see if I can find the.
I had that one for a while, and then I gave it to some little kids. But I had that it's a hand puppet. It was like a hard rubber hand puppet.
Yeah, those are pretty expensive to find too.
Oh man, okay. And I just gave them away. Damn it.
Here's. Let me see if you can see this.
Here, let's go larger here. Oh wow. Yeah.
See the logo, how it's kind of the same as
yeah, but so tiger sharks were not the same thing as street sharks, because I'm remembering street sharks then. That's what
right. Yeah. Because you were looking at me funny and we're like, that's not the same.
Right.
No, and because I want to find tiger sharks and I also want to find the toys are really cool. The biker mice from Mars. Do you remember that old show? It was one of many turtles.
Yeah. Rip-offs, right?
The toys, especially the motorcycles, are really cool. And if you can find them.
So the thing that interested me about Thundarr, because he would always yell, "Ukla, Ariel, ride!"
Right.
And Ukla had that weird horse too. But this was our future, and that's what scared me. Do we know?
Yeah.
Do we know the year? We don't know the year. Was it 1995?
Well, when the show started, it was 1994. But then there was an event that jettisoned like 2,000 years into the future, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
The year is 3994. Post-apocalyptic wasteland divided into kingdoms or territories.
Wow. Yeah. See, that scared me, because then it was an age of wizards and monsters and stuff.
That's right.
And how did that happen? Do we know? Do we know what, like?
I don't think it ever got to why it happened. The moon was broken up a bit, had a hole in it.
Yep. I remember that. That was cool. It was just a cool looking show.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
Oh, you're getting it from the creative minds of Alex and Jack. Of course it'll look cool.
That's weird. I didn't know Kirby was involved with that. Really?
Yeah,
I knew that Alex did the designs and stuff like that, but I didn't know that Jack Kirby was involved.
Well, and if I remember correctly, didn't Alex do all of the Johnny Quest too?
A lot of the Hanna-Barbera stuff, Space Ghost, Birdman, Herculoids, all toast.
That's awesome.
Getting off on a little tangent, Birdman, those little vignette cartoons were awesome. I love those. The Galaxy Trio, I love those things. And then they did Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, which was stupid and fun. It was a takeoff of courtroom drama stuff, but it was funny. I like those shows. Have you guys seen Bird Girl?
Yes.
It's funny. It's really funny. I saw the first 3 episodes. It's pretty funny.
What's it come on?
It's on Adult Swim.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I guess it's Harvey Birdman's daughter. And
No, it's Seven's daughter.
Seven's daughter. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny. You gotta watch it. I didn't think it was as funny as it was going to be, so I liked it.
I like Bird Cat.
That's right.
So you have this big fat cat with just the hood on, and then the cat had its own adventures, which was hilarious in one of the episodes.
I will check that out.
Well, Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, that sort of like followed the Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yep.
Keeping that.
Well, the Space Ghost was earlier, I believe.
Yes, but yeah, it's keeping that. Yeah. Let's make fun of the old cartoons.
Right. So what did you like about Thundarr, Jamie?
For me, it was, even then I knew that everything that was coming out was influenced by Star Wars in some way, shape, or form. As soon as you see this sun sword and you hear the noise that he makes when he's fighting, it's like, okay, these guys they're appealing to me. I'm still riding that high of Star Wars, and then I believe Empire had come out by then. Empire came out in 80, or was it 81?
1980.
Okay, 80. So yeah, so it was like, oh my gosh, this dude's got a sun sword, and then Ookla reminded me of Chewbacca. And so I was just immediately pulled in.
Well, that was the obvious thing, right? I mean, Ookla looks so much like Chewbacca. You're like, oh, wait a minute. And then the sun sword. You're like, okay, I see what they're doing. Even as a kid, I'm like, I kind of see what they're doing here.
Right.
But it was a different enough take.
And according to Wikipedia, it was the networks that were telling Gerber to add the Wookiee character.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool.
Now that was a different animation company, wasn't? If I'm remembering correctly, because I can't remember these things. Wasn't it Ruby Spears that did Thundarr?
That's right.
Yeah. See, you asked me to remember important things like my anniversary date and stuff like that. I can't remember that, but Ruby Spears, I remember.
Well, it was just, you've got, I just remember loving Thundarr and then loving Black Star, which was right around the same time. And then, of course, we got Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and the Incredible Hulk. And then you got like the really bizarre stuff, like there was a cartoon about a kid that turned into a car.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and you're just like, what?
Yeah.
And then that was usually followed by, I think, Mr. T, not Mysteries. That came later. That came years later.
Yeah.
No, it was Mr. T Mysteries.
I think it was, yeah. Mike Tyson Mysteries is what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Turbo Teen?
Turbo Teen.
Turbo Teen. Thank you. Turbo Teen, that was one of the weirdest, and if I remember correctly, Turbo Teen somehow cartoonist, was it Jim Woodring? Was he involved in that?
You lost me there. I have no idea.
I may have that wrong, but I remember that was so bizarre, but I watched it.
Turbo Teen. I remember they had the Thing cartoon without the Fantastic Four. And then they had the Ring Thing, Do Your Thing, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just weird because I remember reading in the comics, I'm like, that's not how he turns into the Thing. I'm like, what are they doing? Why does this kid like turn into the Thing? Why does he need a ring? What's happening? Why is this not the comics? I remember being very angry about the whole thing.
Wasn't there also one where it was the thing with Shmoo? Do you remember Shmoo? That
Yeah.
Well,
Sounds
that's
like
from Little Abner.
Little Abner.
Yeah, the Shmoo is from Little Abner.
I thought I don't know. Maybe I'm dreaming this up, but I thought the thing.
Well, the thing from the Herculoids, kind of like, right?
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe
That's
he was.
Gloop and Gleep.
No, I know what Jamie's talking about. I think he
okay.
had, yeah, he had something like a character like that. I remember that.
And then you had Godzilla and Godzuki.
Godzuki, that's right.
And see, I always like the characters that everybody ends up hating and they make fun of me. But like, I'm like, oh, okay, this is cute. And my friends would be like, "You're stupid.
This is why you're lonely."
Why do you like the dumbest character on the show, you idiot?"
Speaking of which, why do you like Rom so much?
Rom Space Knight. If you read those original Marvel comics with Bill Mantlo and Sal Buscema, he was telling a story. I mean, I think we were talking about it earlier. He was given a toy that basically doesn't do anything except, his eyes blink.
Don't you have one there? You have one there, right?
Yeah, let me get it.
So he didn't do anything. This action figure just stood there, basically.
His eyes lit up, and then he had like a what was called a neutralizer gun. This has actually been repainted by my friend Jamie Ray. He gave it to me for a Rom Thumb painting, and I was just tickled because it is gorgeous. You can't really see, but he just did a fantastic job. So Bill Mantlo took this toy and just created this entire universe, and it was not just a action adventure with Rom, who's trying to save us all from the dire wraiths, and you can't really tell who they are. But then there was like a love story with Brandy Clark, I believe. She's got this guy Steve Jackson, and Steve thinks that Rom is a monster, and she should stay away. For some reason, she falls for him.
must be a shiny exterior.
But I mean, you'd have these issues where he would meet some of the more popular Marvel characters, like I think Doctor Strange and Prince Namor. But then there was still that one big story that he's trying to tell, and you're wondering is Rom ever going to be able to return to his human form? And I mean, I just love it. I just think and I think it would make a great movie.
But what is it about? Because I knew Rom and I had some of the comics, but I never got into them, obviously to the degree that you did. What was it about Rom that really like tickled your fancy there?
Tickled my fancy.
Yeah. Well, that made you kind of go, "Oh, I love this character." You have all the books, right? You were telling me you have all the books except for like a couple of annuals. You have one for 75. Yeah, and you do a lot of drawings of Rom or Rom inspired type drawings.
Yeah, I did this. I have a T-shirt on my TeePublic site because Rom was originally going to be called Cobol, Cobol, which was like another computer term from the time. And so I came up with Cobble the Space Cop, and which is completely different in original.
Not derivative in any way.
not in any way. So I started putting those up, and then I really started just reaching out when the new series came out. That's kind of when it really kind of started up again for me. And I would send fan art to Chris Ryle, who, of course, he's responsible for bringing ROM to IDW. And I know the poor guy, who's probably like, oh my gosh, I wish he'd stop sending me so much stuff. But I wanted to do a cover, and I remember he said Hasbro's not they're not really looking for anything cartoony or cutesy. And he was nice. I mean, he's like, yeah, I dig it, but it's not what they're looking for. And so I ended up doing one that he really liked, and he put it in ROM 4. It was a full page pinup. I'll never forget. Somebody told me, they said your name popped up for ROM 4, and I said, what? I forget who told me. And they're like, yeah, ROM 4's got your name in the credits. And I'm like, what? So I went and looked, and I was like,
there it is.
What the world? And I contacted Chris, and he goes, oh yeah, I gave you a full page pinup. And I was so happy when I got that. My little, because ROM Thumb is who I was drawing, which was kind of like, and instead of being from Galador, he was from Galadorable. That was kind of the thing. And I drew the dire erase, really, really super cute. And so I started selling fan art at shows. I do paintings and little sketches. That was right around the time I combined He-Man and Charlie Brown. I did He-Nuts. So I drew. I drew
He-Nuts.
I drew Charlie Brown as He-Man, and Snoopy was Battle Cat.
See, this is what I'm talking about, Wayne. With Jamie, you get all these like crazy names and stuff like that. You know, like where else do you get Shanky Whistleteats and Nippy Wallaboosh? You know.
So it just started getting, and then I met like Jamie Ray, who is a friend of mine, a ROM fanatic. Like, as a matter of fact, he was like, tell me what issues you're missing. I've got all of them. And so one day I get this, this giant box and with all the stuff that I'm missing, because I'm not concerned about condition. I just want to read them. And then I met this whole network of people that love ROM, and so there's like a Facebook group, and I've sold a few pieces of I've done some like cover recreations of ROM as ROM Thumb. ROM Thumb, the littlest space knight. And yeah, but I guess it was IDW that kind of rekindled that that love of the character. It was basically like an Iron Man, space. Only he can't take his suit off because he'll die.
Yeah, and the IDW series can't incorporate, I think, the Space Knights. A lot of the stuff that Bill created, they can't bring over.
Right.
They couldn't bring Starshine. They couldn't bring Brandy and Steve. They couldn't bring that whole story. But still, what they did, what Chris did, I thought was really, really cool. Just a slightly different take. But there's always that part of you is like, oh man, I wish they could have just had all of it. That would have been cool.
So, we should talk about the Bad Batch, because we kind of like, did say we were going to talk about that. But before we get to that, how did you get involved with the Star Wars stuff? How did that come about? In the Star Wars Insider.
I was working at Topps at the time, and when I first started working for Topps, you could draw in a cartoony style. You could, anything goes, right? All of that changed when Force Awakens came out, because they just really tightened the reins. Especially they didn't want anybody doing any off-model artwork of like Kylo or Rey or any of that. I mean, it had to be kind of hyper realistic. I mean, there are some incredible sketch card artist. You look at it like that just looks like a photo, and that's not the stuff that I do.
Right.
You know, I started out with Darth Vader with big Garfield eyes. You know, that's what I would draw. So I sent some artwork to Jonathan Wilkins, who was the editor at the time, and I said, I don't know if you ever have a need for any spot illustrations or a comic strip, but I would love to work with Insider. And so this would have been like 5 years ago now. And so, to my surprise, he answered, and he goes, "Well, what kind of comic strip? Show me what you're thinking." And of course, I didn't have anything. I mean, it was just like, let me throw this out there and see what happens.
Oh my God! Now I got to do something. Yeah.
So I'll never forget. I was in the middle of a picture book. So I stopped and I spent the entire day writing. I wrote all these gags, you know, just stuff that I thought was really funny. And I sent him everything, and he goes, "Oh, I like this, but you know, you got to run everything by Lucasfilm." So it was probably 7 or 8 months before I ever heard anything, and of course I thought it was dead in the water. And so I sent him an email and I said, "Hey, Jonathan, it was so cool to meet you and put this together. Did you ever get any feedback from Lucasfilm? Maybe I can, you know, tweak it or resubmit." And he goes, "Oh, no, the first one's coming out in April." And then I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." He says, "I'm going to know more."
The theme through all of your jobs is they're happening. You just never knew about it.
I had no idea. I had no idea.
How lucky are you that you don't even have communication with any of these people?
I see why that guy came after me now. No, so he said the first issue is actually going to debut at Star Wars Celebration in Florida. So I immediately made plans, went down there, met him, did a signing at their booth. And you know, of course, it was the very first one, and yeah, now, you know, 4 years later, now I'm working with another editor, and I just, you know, I still pinch myself every time I get it in the mail, and I'll look, and I'm like, "Am I here?" Yeah, that's me. I've gotten to draw all of my favorites, you know, Darth Vader and Jackson and Jar Jar, and just everybody that I love. I've been able to, and then. Let me see if I can find the Bad Batch real quick.
Because also, speaking about you liking all the loser characters, one of your favorite characters is Jackson, right?
I love Jackson. I just ordered his figure. So here's my take on the Bad Batch.
Funny.
So they're called the Not So Bad Batch, and they're doing helpful things like the one guy who I hadn't seen the show, so I didn't know there was going to be any of that conflict. But he's helping Dengar put his bandages on. Let's see that.
Crosshairs.
Crosshair, yeah. So, but Franco, my personal favorite, and I'm not sure exactly where to find it. I don't want to make you wait, but basically, I have Walrus Man and Dr. Evazan, I think it is, and they're getting ready to head into the cantina. And Walrus Man is like, "I got to show you something," and he rolls up his sleeve and he's like, "You got a tattoo of Tatooine?" He said, "Those things are permanent. You'll never get rid of it." And of course, this is right before he gets his arm sliced off. So that's the kind of stuff that I like to do. And as a matter of fact, a couple of years ago, I was talking with a publisher, and he said, "Yeah, I know you. I know the strip." He said, "But you really have to know Star Wars in order to get everything that you write and draw." And he said, "And I just don't know if, you know, normal like the book Darth Vader and Son. Anybody's gonna know that, right?
Mhm.
But I'm doing jokes about Dexter Jetster and his diner, and and he's like, I just don't know. So that's kind of but it's a blast. I mean, I still pinch myself because at the time Star Wars was like, I mean, that was the biggest IP on the planet at the time that I got it. I couldn't believe it.
It's kind of still pretty large.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
The interest has waned a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously it's a tremendous blessing to have a tiny little part of it. But I do hope and pray that one day there's a collection, because I think there's some funny stuff there. One of my favorite recurring characters is and I have this whole backstory figured out, but Lil Wampa has got the one, and he's teamed up with this orange frog. I've drawn him in several strips. Sometimes he's just in the background. Well, his name is Opie Starhopper, and he escaped from Jabba's palace. Like, he got out of there. Now, how he found the Wampa on Hoth, I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out. But they team up and they have these adventures together. And so you can find him if you go back and look at the strips. You'll see the little orange frog, and that's Opie.
Oh, man.
So there you go.
So they're not going to let you write any Bad Batch episodes, is what I'm taking from this.
Not now. They're going to believe he'll probably submit some Scrappy Doo looking dork, and we're not going to have that.
Well, what did you think of the Bad Batch? First two episodes, because we haven't seen the third one. But what did you think?
I have to watch the third one with Tyler. I loved it. Now, I was recently on a podcast of the Wills, and we were talking about it because it was almost exactly a year ago when the last Clone Wars came out. And so,
which I still haven't seen. I'm in the middle of the Clone Wars, but I've seen some of the Bad Batch stuff. So when I saw the second episode, I'm like, oh, I know who those characters are.
Exactly. So when I was first watching, I'm like, well, these guys are cool, but I want Ahsoka. I want to know what's going on with Ahsoka. So hurry up, Whereas now I'm like, okay, let's find out the backstory. And I'm already, I'm like, Tyler, who do you think, Omega is or will be? And so we're kind of going back and forth. And of course, I love Hunter. That he's my favorite, and I got his action figure. And I think someone said recently that Dave Filoni just knows how to give you the Star Wars you don't even know you want.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, here it is. It's going to be awesome. Check it out.
Well, I was telling Franco before we got on together is that why is it the only satisfying Star Wars story that I've had over the past couple of years has been the animated side?
Yeah.
Oh, everything he's touched, from Clone Wars to Rebels. Rebels is just fantastic.
Mandalorian.
But I don't know. I'm just one of those guys that just wants to consume it all. From comics to
you know what my fear is right now, right? My fear is that I'm not going to live long enough to see all the stuff that's coming out, because back in the day we're like, oh, one movie, and then maybe like 5 years later there's Empire Strikes Back, or 8 years later, whatever it was. And I'm like, okay, and then Return of the Jedi, and then that's it, and then you're not getting any more, and then they do Phantom Menace, and then you're like, oh, and now there's all this Star Wars stuff, and you're like, I'm gonna die before I see all this stuff.
Yeah,
that's sad. That's sad to me.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Obi-Wan and the stuff about Cashin, because I loved Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just I'm even going back and watching the old vintage. We are the Ewoks.
Spirit of the forest.
Yeah, I'm not watching those.
you want to talk about weird, man? Those are bizarre. It's like, what?
I remember the movies. I remember when the TV movies came out. I was so excited. I'm like, oh, there's gonna be new Star Wars stuff. And then you watch those movies, you're like, and then the cartoon came out. The Ewok cartoon came out, and you're like, what am I watching?
Don't forget, you also had droids.
Droids. As well.
And do you know there was a in Droids? There was a character. He was a villain, and his name was like Kylo Ren or something. It was so close to Kylo Ren. That people were talking about it when The Force Awakens was coming out. But he was a villain in Droids, and those toys that came out, they're almost impossible to find, because I love the way they drew R2-D2. You know, who's kind of stripped down to the bare bones, but I love the design. I thought it was great.
No, I didn't watch those. I'm like, nah. But like, it's not doing it for me.
Is the character Kybo Ren Chop?
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. But you probably didn't like Ewoks in Return of the Jedi, did you?
I was okay with them, and I wasn't one of these guys that didn't like them. I really didn't like Jar Jar. Jar Jar was one of those things that was like, what are you doing? What's happening? I was thankful that they listened and took him out of the second one. But the Ewoks I was okay with. I was okay with the Ewoks.
Yeah, the Ewoks are great.
Now everybody's favorite is always Empire. My favorite is always Star Wars, the original, New Hope. That's always been my favorite. And then Empire, and then Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, Empire's my favorite. It always has been.
See, I don't understand that argument or that thought process, because how can it be your favorite? Because the first one had to have come out for this one to be your favorite. So that's, it's a non-argument.
But the first one doesn't always have to be your favorite.
Yeah, it does, because the other ones wouldn't exist without it. So therefore, by default, it's your favorite. Right?
So when you had your first hot dog,
yep,
that was your favorite.
Yeah, because then I knew what other hot dogs tasted like and compared to.
Okay.
Yeah. That doesn't work with hot dogs, I think.
Whoa. If
think we're
you
talking
didn't
about
have your first hot dog.
Because if we're going back to it, my first hot dog was probably breast milk, if we're going back that far.
What? First hot dog was... Oh, man. Put a rating on this one.
If we're going back that far, if we're going to do the food thing.
Okay.
That's all I'm thinking.
Andrew Clark has an observation. Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade is the best of the indie films.
No, it's not possible, because Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark came out first. So there wouldn't be a Last Crusade without the first one. This is the hill I'm dying on. I'm telling you.
Okay. So you would then say The Hobbit is better than The Lord of the Rings. Because The Hobbit came out first.
Absolutely. Now, the only way I would change my mind is probably let's see. What was I thinking? Aliens? It's probably better than Alien.
Whoa! No, that's wrong. That's wrong.
See, that's wrong. See, because Alien came out first.
Yeah.
See, even my own theory, like I was trying to.
Your own theory is now falling apart.
No, it's not falling apart. You just reinsured my.
No. You said the Alien with the S was better than the Alien without the S.
Right. I was trying to think, was it better? But you're like, no, the first one was better, and there you just made my argument for me.
No. You were going. Oh no. I think that Cameron guy did something good.
Well, he did, but he couldn't have done it without the first one. See, what I wanted to say is that Terminator is better than Alien.
Aliens.
I don't know.
So the first Terminator, then Terminator 2.
Probably.
Okay, so T2 or T1?
Yes.
Okay.
See?
But T1 was done before because that was based slightly on a script that Harlan Ellison did called Soldier. That was, I think, either Twilight Zone or an Outer Limits episode.
Didn't they do that with a Jean-Claude Van Damme, Universal Soldier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph. Speaking of Dolph,
he's got a degree. He's got a degree in something.
We're going back to He-Man again.
He-Man.
So that movie was awful when you were a kid, right? But
now it wasn't. I loved it as a kid, and I love it as an adult. You had Frank Langella as Skeletor. He just acted his ass off in it. It was like Shakespeare. The way he delivered the lines.
That guy is like a consummate professional. I saw him in Frost Nixon. He's amazing. Not so good in Dracula with the hair. He had the hair that, but yeah. And I saw him some movie where he was completely naked, and I was like, whoa, I don't know that I ever needed to see that. Yeah, I saw Skeletor naked. That was weird. Yeah. But traumatizing. But good. Fun. So anyway, what I'm saying is Masters of the Universe, not as good as Dracula. Because Frank Langella was in Dracula first. So that's where I'm going with that. I'm sticking by this. Jamie knows what I'm talking about.
He's standing by it. I'm trying to think of I mean, I will say that open season is better than 2 or 3.
See? I'm telling you, that first one. There would be no other ones without the first one.
Ashton
Kutcher and Martin Lawrence.
They are so funny in that first one. And then they changed up all the voices. I guess they didn't make enough to get them back.
Right.
All right, well, what about, since there's about 13 or 14, what's your favorite Land Before Time movie?
Now, this is a little controversial, but but I'm going to go with the one where Petrie dies. Does Petrie die? Does he? I don't know. I hope he does, because he was annoying. Like, what's that song he would sing when he would fly around?
Flip, flap, and fly.
Yeah, that's.
Don't care if I die.
Yeah. See, I'm watching that because Nick, my little kid, watch it over and over again, and I'm like, gosh, why aren't these dinosaurs extinct?
What did they make?
They should be extinct at this point. I don't want to watch any of these anymore.
Yep.
If we're going down this road, there's look at all the first of the better ones. Die Hard, first one's, there is no better one. Matrix, first one. I think, okay.
But here's where it goes off the rails just a bit, okay? And I'm being dead serious. I'm not joking. I was joking about Land Before Time. But Paddington Bear 2 is far superior. and if you look up,
Paddington Bear 2 and Star Trek 2. Those are the only ones.
Paddington Bear 2 has a near perfect score. Look it up. I'm being dead serious.
A perfect score? Like
perfect score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, I was going to say music. That's where you're going with the score?
Nope. No.
No. I'm gonna say no on this one.
You're still gonna stick with Paddington, the first one.
Yeah, because without it, there's no Paddington 2. Now, I think if we're gonna keep with this argument, the only sequel or after story that's better is Star Trek 2. That's where I'm gonna go with that. That's where I'm going. And as far as perfect movies, if you watch what's the one with the dragons? With Black Fury. What's Dragon Riders?
No.
You're talking about How to Train Your Dragon?
How to Train Your Dragon. You watch that movie, that is a perfect storyline. There is not one frame of that film that is wasted outside of story. One thing leads to another. It's just like perfect music, script, performances. Even though they're animated, the animation. It's just a perfect film. If we're going down that road, so there. And it's better than the other ones too. So, even though they had like 6. All right. So if we're doing this argument again, maybe 2 other movies that I'll bring up.
Okay.
Okay. Fast and the Furious. Which one is the best one? And there is a correct answer.
None of them?
There you go. That's the correct answer. The correct answer.
I've seen the first one.
Yeah, no.
And I honestly enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
No, that's the wrong answer. And then my other first perfect movie and no other ones has to be I would say Jaws. I would think Jaws.
Andrew Clark agrees with you with that.
Yeah.
Jaws is perfect.
Well, Andrew Clark knows what he's talking about. See?
But he prefers Fast 5.
No, he's wrong. See, he just lost all credibility now.
That was a fun.
According to Rotten Tomatoes, time's up, Buzz and Woody. Here's one bear who's too legit to quit. Paddington 2 has become the latest movie to top Toy Story 2 Rotten Tomatoes record, notching the most consecutive fresh reviews without a single rotten write-up. As of this writing, 164 fresh reviews.
That's incorrect.
See?
That's
I know my Paddington Bear.
And as far as a near perfect movie, Toy Story is a near perfect movie.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, not the other ones. So there.
Yeah, Tyler did not like 4 at all. I mean, he even says he hates 4.
Every single one of those movies made me cry every time I watched it. So that's where I am in my lonely basement right now.
Don't share that on Twitter.
I'll
jump all over you.
All right, I think I finished my drawing, and I'm not going to color it tonight because my sides hurt. So this is
awesome.
From top to bottom.
That's fantastic, man.
And you get his feet down there. I'll turn it upside down. And the other day, this is how long it's taken me to draw this, but I finally inked the Spider-Man 2099 from the last show. and I still haven't colored it because I've been so busy. But this is my Spider-Man 2099 from the last show.
That's a great.
For those, and here's the bottom of the feet. So, yes. So I will probably color those in the next year, 6 months to a year. I'll probably get those colored, and they'll be up somewhere for sale at some point. I'm thinking. So yeah, we didn't talk about Bad Batch at all.
Briefly.
Yeah, it's kind of like a G.I. Joe in Star Wars universe type thing, right?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, I'm digging it. I love Clone Wars. I love Star Wars Rebels. I love this. I'm really digging it, and can't wait to see where he goes and how it all connects.
I like the political intrigue with the Clone Masters and the Empire, and there's something going on between the two, trying to make sure that they can still be part of the industrial machine to bring in the clones into the Empire so that the money still keeps flowing. There's something about them that says, well, if we don't do this, something's going to happen to us. So there's some mysterious dark figure or something in the background that they're all worried about. That's why they still want to keep the contract with the Empire.
Yeah. And Tarkin showing up was like, and I love that it took off right from Order 66. That was kind of cool. I love what they did with Crosshair. Like his programming was still kind of intact, and he was trying to kill the Padawan and stuff like that. And that Padawan's still out there. So
do you know who he is?
Yeah.
No.
I know who he is.
Go ahead, Jamie.
He's Kanan Jarrus from Star Wars Rebels.
Oh. See, I didn't watch Star Wars Rebels. It's the next one I got to watch after Clone Wars.
Love it, dude. You will love it. What is it? Twilight of the Apprentice. Those two are my favorite of the whole series. But you'll love it.
Talking about Twilight. None of those are good. If we're gonna go back to that argument, but you watch that with the sound off and just watch, Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart walk around. That's the only way it's tolerable. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yep.
Andrew Clark thinks that Omega might have Jedi blood in her, so she might have the midi-chlorians.
Oh
wow. Do you know who I was wondering who she is? And it's probably not, but I was wondering, given the age, if she would grow up to be Phasma.
Wow. No. Maybe? Well, didn't they do the whole backstory with Phasma and that the nuns or the sisters in the woods, like training killers and stuff like that? Wasn't that on the Clone Wars? Or am I thinking of Asajj? Thinking of Asajj.
You're thinking, yeah,
Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, not Phasma.
Okay, all right.
I haven't. I could be way off because I haven't read any of the Phasma books or the comics, but and I'm sure that's not it, but that's what I was thinking when I first saw it. I was like, "Ooh, I wonder."
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know, but there's theories out there, and I like them.
Yeah.
But this has been fun. This has been a talk. We've been talking to Jamie Coselly, or as I like to call him, Cosley. Jamie Coselly, artist, musician, funny guy. Thank you for doing this with us tonight. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. You and I haven't talked in a while, so it was fun to just laugh. It's like we picked up right where we left off at our last conversation.
That's right. That's good stuff.
So we're expecting an archive soon of all your old comics.
Yeah,
we should get that together and do print them out because they're all out of print. So we should print like a compendium of weird weird comics that we did, which were great. I love them all, but we gotta put those together.
It'd be like Fred Henbeck's omnibuses.
Yeah.
Of course, as soon as we stopped, that's when DC picked up Art and Franco. So it was for the best.
Well, they picked us up as soon as we stopped everything. We're like, we're not doing anything anymore. Screw it.
Yeah.
And DC called and like, well, all right, we'll do that. So,
this has been great, man. I appreciate you having me on. It's nice meeting you and talking with you, and yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just ready for some shows and ready to get my book out there and hopefully continue to grow the Blue Scar family. We've got a good base of patrons, but I figure if we can go to shows and we can actually get the books out in front of some eyes, that people will dig it. I hope.
Yeah. So now you're putting up the pages on your Patreon, right? And then you're coming up with the book when you get it all complete.
Yeah, the first one came out. This is the first one, and I'll show you Crimson so you can see.
There he is.
There's Mr. Gundy. I wanted this to mirror Vader's first appearance, so there's a big boom, and then Mr. Gunn is like, "Can you please close the door?" And he comes in. He's got his Red Raiders there. So issue 2, you can read the entire issue on our Patreon page, and that introduces a character called Jeremiah Thundermuffin, who is he's a bounty hunter, and he's out to collect. And there's a really, really cool scene. I think it's funny. Of course, Tyler read it and he was like, "Dad, this was not in the script." But he let me get away with it. And then, of course, the third issue, I think we have 14 pages up now. We do 1 page a week, and then we do 2 or 3 videos, which just Tyler and I will do a fun little video of like, "Hey, look at the toys we found at the local flea market." Or one guy said, "Hey, can you do some process videos?" So I'm starting to put that together. And then we do stickers. I was trying to see if I had any handy stickers and trading cards. I did my first trading card, and I give those all to our patrons. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and all that. Jamie Cosley, patreon.com/Jamie Cosley. So check that out and follow him on the social medias and all that other stuff. So yeah, check it out. It's good stuff, and Jamie's a good guy. So I want to thank you, Jamie, for coming on. It was a lot of fun hanging out and drawing and stuff like that. Wayne, as always, thank you very much. To the 1 or 2 people that were watching the entire time, thank you. As always, you can catch up on past episodes on my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Franco_. And you can see all the videos for free. They're up there for free, and you can see some artwork and stuff like that. And then there's other stuff that I haven't updated in a month because I've just been so busy with other stuff. But we'll get to it. And we hope to be back next week with another guest. Ask me who it is. I won't answer because I don't know. But we'll figure that out. We'll try to be back next week unless things interrupt. Thank you again, and we'll see you. Thanks.